Today we continue our discussion about being a disciple of Jesus and making disciples. In particular, we'll focus on the role of coming alongside. A disciple, among other things, is one who comes alongside another person, walking with that person in their life journey, reminding them along the way of Jesus and Jesus' teachings. The Gospel writer Mark described Jesus' appointment of disciples this way: He appointed 12 that they might be with him, and that he might send them out to preach and have authority to drive out demons. That's Mark chapter 3, verses 14 and 15. A disciple of Jesus, therefore, is one who is appointed to be with another person, modeling the life and instructions of Jesus. Making a disciple is, in some respects, a subtle process. Influencing others to follow the example and teachings of Jesus sometimes is as simple as being in a trusting relationship and striving to follow Jesus in our own lifestyle. Coming alongside another person to influence them to live in accordance with the teachings of Jesus is very much like the role of the Holy Spirit. When Jesus described the Holy Spirit, he explained that God would provide an advocate to help you and to be with you. To that he added, the Spirit of truth will teach you all things and remind you of everything I have said. That's John chapter 14, verses 16 and 26. The New Testament was written, for the most part, in a form of Greek. The Gospel writer John used the Greek word paraclete so as to describe the Holy Spirit. The word paraclete has no exact equivalent in English. Those who converted the text from the original Greek have used words as a substitute, such as advocate, comforter, intercessor, helper, and counselor. These have all been listed as translations for that Greek word paraclete. The Holy Spirit comes alongside us and provides counsel, comfort, and help. You and I are called to be disciples of Jesus. Therefore, we need to be open to the leading of the Holy Spirit as he comes alongside us and directs us and helps us grow closer to Jesus. But at the very same time, you and I are called to make disciples. That's the Great Commission in Matthew 28, verse 19. Therefore, we must be available to come alongside others, guiding them in life values that have been taught by Jesus. The story of Philip and the Ethiopian eunuch from Acts 8, verses 26 through 40, is a good example of being a disciple open to the leading of the Holy Spirit to come alongside, while at the same time being available to come alongside others. God's message to Philip was, go to a certain location where Philip encountered the Ethiopian official. The Spirit told Philip, go to that chariot, the chariot in which the Ethiopian was traveling, and stay near it. That's Acts 8:29. As Philip came alongside the chariot, he was overheard the official reading from the book of Isaiah. Do you understand the reading? Philip inquired. How can I unless someone explains it to me, was the response. At that point, the Ethiopian invited Philip into the chariot to explain the passage that he was reading. The passage was from Isaiah 53, foretelling the sacrifice Jesus made as cover for the sins of mankind. Philip was a disciple, a student, a follower of Jesus, and therefore he was open to the leading of the Holy Spirit, who was the constant companion of Philip. Philip, in turn, recognized his role in making disciples, calling him to walk alongside others. An important point is that the Holy Spirit set up the opportunity for discussion about Jesus, and Philip answered the call to explain the prophecy of Jesus. I've heard it said in bottom-line fashion that the job of the Holy Spirit is always to call our attention to Jesus and his teachings. Similarly, as you and I go and make disciples, we have the job of calling other people's attention to Jesus and his teaching. That opportunity often begins when we simply come alongside another person to walk with them through life's challenges. So, are you willing to be a paraclete, that is, a counselor to someone else? Are you open to making disciples by walking alongside another person? Consider, if you will, these questions for introspection. Question number 1, what steps are you taking to learn about Jesus so that you can share the gospel message with someone else? Question number 2, who is the Spirit calling you to befriend, and how can you accompany that person as he or she walks through the challenges of their life? And question number 3, what reservations do you have about counseling another person in the ways of Jesus? Being a disciple of Jesus requires our commitment, a commitment to model Jesus, including providing service to others. That service often begins simply by walking with them, drawing their attention to Jesus and the teachings of Jesus that apply to all of us in our everyday living. The Holy Spirit sets the example for us. As we continue to grow in a deeper relationship with Jesus, the Spirit is calling us into relationship with others where we can share the love of Jesus. Today, let's be someone's paraclete.